The far-left overlords over at YouTube unfairly censored and blacklisted me. Not for breaking any rules, but for daring to express opinions they didn't like. Because of this, not only was I deplatformed, lost my audience, lost my reach, my career has been essentially sabotaged, and my ability to maintain viability financially has been destroyed. This is my story, and it's why I'm asking for the help of two people I would call champions of free speech, and that is Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Here's what happened to me. I started a YouTube channel in 2013. I called it Atheism is Unstoppable. It was my pride and joy for 7 years. At the beginning, I focused on atheism and religion, but I quickly expanded to other topics: culture, politics, social commentary, mental health, sports, and, to my audience's dismay, Eurovision. You name it, I talked about it. I had a ton of fun. I loved doing it. And video by video, I built my channel from scratch. I got 120,000 subscribers, millions of views, and a loyal community who supported me on Patreon. This became my job, and things were going well, and I was growing, until it all came crashing down in 2020, much like everything else. That is when YouTube removed my channel without warning. I didn't have a single strike on my channel, not one, you're supposed to get 3, and yet they banned me from the platform. Why did this happen? Well, I believe it has everything to do with that infamous moment in 2020 when the nation spiraled into chaos after the overdose of George Floyd. This was part of what people refer to as a racial reckoning, and it devolved into fires, riots, murders, and yes, censorship. Many voices, including mine, were silenced by big tech during this time. They didn't give specific reasons for my ban, ever, but it's safe to say it had something to do with my willingness to speak honestly about race and crime in ways that don't align with the far-left narrative. Their ban was totally absurd. They sent me this. A channel can be terminated without a warning or strike, like in instances where there's a single case of severe abuse. So, they make up the rules, and then they can pick and choose when they want to play with those rules. Or they just change the rules as they go. Oh, you're supposed to get 3 strikes? Nah, not for you. You don't get that. You don't get to defend yourself from your ban, because we're not going to tell you why we banned you. So what did I say that was so severe and abusive? Was I calling for the execution of CEOs? Was I supporting a terrorist group like Hamas? No, there is nothing that I did that was wrong. But if you talk about race, they will censor you and not feel the need to tell you how it's justified, because it's not. I suppose it was my radical stances, like being against rape and murder, and my refusal to sugarcoat the realities of who's committing those crimes. Maybe it was something I picked up in the Boy Scouts on my way to becoming an Eagle Scout. Or maybe it was the anger I felt as I stared at O.J. Simpson during his trial, making eye contact with that prick several times, weeks before he got away with murder. But real talk about race and crime isn't tolerated on YouTube. Despite having 0 strikes, YouTube banned me without warning, claiming hate speech. Yet they couldn't point to a single video or timestamp to back up this accusation. Let's put aside the fact that hate speech is a nebulous, made-up term that contradicts the principles of free speech itself. Even by their own absurd standards, I didn't say anything hateful. So without specifics, my appeal process was a complete joke. How can you defend yourself when they won't tell you what you've been accused of? Donald Trump has spoken of a digital Bill of Rights, and it's about goddamn time. The same rights we claim to care so much about as Americans that our forefathers enshrined in the Constitution and bled for should probably be reflected and mirrored in our digital lives as well. Otherwise, what's the point? And first and foremost is the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. It simply does not exist online, and that's not right. And not just that, the right to know what you're being accused of and the right to defend yourself of that accusation with a fair trial, yeah, we should have that too, like we do in real life. Listen to Donald Trump talk about this.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal.
He's talking about me. So what YouTube did to me wasn't just censorship. It was character assassination and career sabotage. It was the death of years of my work, my income, my future, and my ability to exist as a content creator. And while I've found a home at censored.tv and continue to create for a small, loyal audience, the reality is clear. YouTube's censorship has crippled my ability to earn a living and to reach new people. Without growth and new people coming in, I just lose income over time and will eventually just be unable to continue doing this, which will be a shame because I love doing this. So the years I spent building my channel, my community, and my career was destroyed overnight. So here's a visual representation. My career is James Caan's ankles, and YouTube is Kathy Bates.
God's sake.
It's for the best.
Eddie, please!
Now, I think Trump is a bit on the busy side these days, and while I have my fingers crossed that he can push through a digital Bill of Rights and hold companies like YouTube accountable for their corrupt actions, I don't think he can help me personally, and quite frankly, I doubt YouTube will ever reverse their decision unless they are forced to. Elon Musk, on the other hand, is on Twitter, and I've seen him post and repost a bunch of things that make me think that a far more achievable goal would be to get this video in front of the eyes of Elon Musk. A retweet from Elon might just be a game changer for me and shine a spotlight on what the woke left has done to my career. After all, the man believes deeply in free speech.
I really can't emphasize this enough. We must protect free speech, and free speech only matters. It's only relevant when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like, because obviously speech that you like is that's easy. Free speech is actually is extremely important, and it's bizarre that we've come to this point where free speech used to be a left or liberal value, and yet we see from the in quotes left a desire to actually censor.
And if for no other reason, Elon needs to help out a fellow South African. South African. Well, not me, but my father and his father. I am the son of Paul Tracy, born in Durban, a singer, songwriter, and musician who started a musical with his brother in South Africa, which took off and traveled the world, playing in London and Broadway. He was the son of Hugh Tracy, the famous ethnomusicologist who recorded African music for the first time in history in the 1920s. He also created the kalimba and turned it into the internationally popular instrument it is today. But see, when my grandfather Hugh was interviewed in 1960 by the BBC and was asked to talk about some of the differences between whites and blacks, based on his experiences, he said this.
You know, I think it's an awful mistake for people, politicians and others, to think of Africans as merely potential white men with black skins. They've got so many different ways of looking at things, such a different set of values, different ways of behaving. Now, take something much more serious. Murder, for example. The judge has a man up because he's murdered a member of another tribe. And he says, "You're guilty of murder." He said, "No, I'm not." He said, "I didn't kill a man of my own tribe. He didn't belong to my tribe. That's not murder."
But if I were to talk about some of the differences between whites and blacks in America, I am literally banned from a company like YouTube, but also Patreon, who had the idiocy to attempt to justify their banning of me by saying this. Upon reviewing your page again in January, my team found several instances of hate speech violations, namely content where black people were being associated with higher criminality rates, low IQs, and overall depicted as less civilized. Oh, because of the high criminality rates, which I made up? That's me? I'm associating them to that fact? Okay, I don't even need to explain the absurdity of this. Look at it for yourself. But yeah, they do commit crimes at a higher rate. The one video I did on IQ, out of my thousands of videos, it's odd that they had no problem with me reporting the findings that Jews and Asians have higher IQs on average than white people. They didn't care about that, but if blacks are mentioned, it's now somehow hate speech. This is just an astonishing admission for them to admit that this is their pathetic reason for removing me from Patreon. Them removing me from Patreon is an act that, by the way, I never recovered from financially. I simply lost the bulk of those patrons, and that was it. They didn't re-sign up. Okay, they didn't even know what happened. They're like, oh, why am I not getting notified anymore? I don't know, whatever. I'm moving on. Life happens. But as far as YouTube goes, they didn't just ban one of my channels. I had backup channels I created due to the BS flags my main channel was getting, and because I wanted to continue to be able to create and post videos for my audience. But they banned those too, for equally non-existent reasons. They banned AIU2, AIU3, AIU4, AIU Resurrection, The Pouch, and then DevonTracey, for good measure. So now I'm down to a new channel I am calling Fear the Rue, which has a whopping 2,000 subs, and they will likely ban that too. But this is not just about me. This is about every creator or person who dares to question the narrative and has been punished for it. Big tech's unchecked power has silenced countless voices, and the right to free speech that we value so much simply does not exist online. And I am an example of the very real repercussions of that. Now, Trump's call for a digital Bill of Rights is a vital step towards protecting online free speech, but change takes time, and we need action now. That's why I'm asking Elon Musk, a proven defender of free speech, to help me amplify this fight against censorship. This is bigger than just one channel. YouTube's unchecked power has silenced countless creators who dare to speak their minds. If we don't fight back, free speech online and off will continue to erode. That's why I'm calling on Elon Musk. Elon, help a South African out. Please, a single retweet from you could shine a light on this injustice and show big tech they can't get away with silencing dissent. The woke mind virus doesn't just affect the woke. It affects the small business owner like myself who is trying to express himself freely but is being unfairly punished for it. So if you do believe in free speech, share this video and use the hashtag #FreeTheRoo and tag Elon Musk, because that is the path. What else am I to do? Just die? Just go away? Just let them win? No, let's send a message. No more censorship. And let's stand up for the right to speak freely. It's about time that censorious fascists like YouTube and Patreon lose. They need to lose this battle, and I need your help. So fly, my flying monkeys, and tweet the man. Finally, we have a platform and a president where they actually care about free speech and content creators. It's a freaking miracle. So while I am sitting here trying to spark a little ember and build a fire of resistance, make my voice heard, I need a roaring fire. And for my little spark in the kindling to catch flame, I need you to blow on it. I need you to blow me. So if you all get together and blow me, we can build a raging fire, say F you to these people who have silenced me unfairly, and then get back to creating and speaking freely, which is the whole point. For this I thank you. Now fly, my pretties, fly.